Hey.
Rust on steel, but the soul runs clean. Old school base is low and mean. We've shed the blood, we got the scars. Everyone knows who we are. Neighbors know when the sun goes down. Windows shake for a mile around. Ain't doing drugs, ain't drinking beer. Just stomp that bass, yeah, loud and clear. Kick drum stomping like a back row run. Heartbeat matching every hit of the drum. Just old man in camouflage, working all night, bass, beer, garage. Power wires running from the front to the back, all lined up, gotta keep them on track. Amps lined up, sitting all in a row. Gotta have the power, gonna make the wind blow. From big wall bills to the street machines, we do it all and in between. When you need a good subwoofer massage, head on down to Bass Beer Garage. We use old tools, old bodies too. You'd be surprised what old guys can do. We smoke our smokes and sip iced tea. Might have some grandkids on our knee. You never guess we drop that bass. Never see that in our face, but a look inside and your face turn red. A wall of subs to wake the dead. Kick drum heavy like a hammer fall. 1 foot down, let the whole place crawl. If it don't shake, we turn it more. This ain't a hobby, it's a backwoods war. Power wires running from the front to the back, all lined up, gotta keep them on track. Amps lined up, sitting all in a row. Gotta have the power,
crazy things. I have been busy today this evening. I've been busy. I didn't get started till like noon 30 or something like that. But I was up pretty late last night, and be honest with y'all, I really wasn't. I was really going to back out on tonight's show. So I'm here though. I'm here. Been working on stuff out in the garage out there. Um, I got I got two projects going for Troy's vehicle right now. One of them is a trunk rack. I got a video coming up. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a whole lot of information. None of the projects are complete in the video, so I just put them all together. We're just gonna put them all together, and we're gonna look at it like that. But I got that going on, and I had to get the stereo in the Tahoe. The Tahoe has been the stereoless for like 3 years. I've been running on a tablet, and I started having weird issues with that. So I don't think it was actually the tablet, but I just wanted to go back to a stereo. So I've been working on actually running a stereo in there, and I got it in and I got it playing some today. I dropped some hard bass, kind of freaked out the wife a little bit, kind of freaked out the wife a little bit and the cats because I sent 20 hertz all the way up to like 60 something hertz to the house, at full hammer. So yeah, she's like, I come in the house, she's like, man, the cats are just totally losing their mind in here. I don't know what to tell you. Uh, she said, "Are you done?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why?" She said, "I just want to make sure because even like you've been rattling the whole house, and that was the wrong thing to say to me." I was like, "Well, I don't know. I may have to go back out there and do it again." You tell me I've been shaking the whole house. All you're doing is inspiring me to go do it again. But yeah. Oh, I got everything. I loaded up a pen drive. See, I have a place to put the pen drive in the back of the stereo, and I got an extension cable for it. But getting that extension cable routed around is kind of tricky. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to put the pen drive in the back, and just put it all behind the radio. So I come in here and I built up a good folder for everything, and I had it all filled out, all ready to go. Had the pen drive plugged in, but for some stupid ass reason, my old man brain forgot to move the file on to the pen drive. I Yeah, I went full stupid. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But I was out there trying to figure out why I couldn't find the folder that I put in. I had a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's got thousands of songs from all the rebasers on there, Rusticles and DJ Dirty Bass and uh, a whole bunch of guys, a whole bunch of rebasers, a whole bunch of music on there. It's good stuff. But I want to have my folder on there so I can play when I do demos and not have to worry about copyright issues. So that's why I run my own music um, most of the time. Anyway, I couldn't find it, but I did have a couple of tracks off of one of the Rusticles folders that I pulled out, had to test the system with. Everything works as it should. Stereo didn't like fall apart or anything. That you guys will see. I'll have some video of it probably tomorrow. So I got some more shit to do. I got a lot more shit to do. I got a lot of things to do. Little projects all over the Tahoe. But it is playing in case something pops up. I try to keep it in a playable state because our club ends up doing a lot of weird shit. Like our president will find all sorts of things going on, like the freaking Christmas parade, which I didn't get in that, but our club did. Um, Two different Christmas parades and a whole bunch of other stuff. Stuff just comes up and makes it, for the club to go get involved with. We do all kinds of charity events and all kinds of stuff like that. So I try to every day get the Tahoe in a playable condition. I try not to ever have it tore down completely. So that keeps me having to finish little projects every day. I got to finish them. I can't leave them in a halfway state because I don't know what's coming tomorrow. She may pop up tomorrow and say, "Hey, in 2 days we have to go do this." I'm like, "Okay, so here's that." But anyway, it's good publicity for the club. It's good publicity for bass heads because we keep nice clean. We always present ourselves well, and all the music's clean, and people have good attitudes. We don't leave messes anywhere. In fact, we usually leave a lot cleaner than when we got there. We pick up stuff that wasn't even our trash. We go around picking up trash. That's the last thing everybody does at the events. Hey, before you leave, grab a bag of trash, find a bunch of trash, and carry it out of here. We just keep everything clean, take care of stuff, take care of our reputation. So that gives us much more invites back because we're very good about that stuff. Anyway, let's see if there's anything going on over here in the chat. Not a lot of chat tonight so far. Berserker. Berserker said, "A beard, call me Santa Claus." Hell yeah. Been a minute, yeah. Well, Berserker, I'm on every Sunday and Friday so far. Although, guys, I'm gonna tell you what I got in my brain right now. Sunday and Friday are so close together. I am debating on how I want to move forward with this. I'm going to do a Friday show. I like the Friday slot, but what I think I'm going to do Friday, normally I do at 9. I think I'm going to lower Friday to like 7. That's Central Time, by the way, Central U.S. time, which is about right now. Okay, whatever time you are in, zone you're in, this will be the time. So I'm going to move Friday down to 7 because people getting off work, have time to, do all their stuff and everything. It seems to work out pretty good to run it at 7. So I'm going to run it at 7. And the Sunday show, this show, I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep it up, but what I may do is some random vertical shows like the short style where the camera's all sideways. Do some of those during the week as part of my normal weekly upload schedules. Just kind of randomly put those little live shows out during the week and just have one stationary fixed show that's consistently going to happen from 7 p.m. until whenever on Friday at Central Time. So for those of you who don't know, new people, old people, subscribers, non-subscribers, that's kind of what I got in my brain. Because my shows tend to go long and, I've had shows that lasted 5.5 hours. It seems like 3 hours is becoming the new norm. I usually go for about 2, but you guys ask questions, I'll keep answering them until we get them all answered, until we cover everything. So that's how that works. Roll it, rocking out. Hell yeah, man. New tracks, stuff like that. I'm always working on new albums for the streaming services. So if you guys are looking for good demo music, I usually upload between around 26 hertz up to like in the high 40s. But the ones that are really low frequency, all of them have an indicator in the title to tell you how low that frequency is. If it doesn't say, it's usually somewhere around 32, which is kind of everybody's good at 32. But I usually try to put that in the title of it. But what I was going to say was whatever streaming service you're using, whether it be Spotify, Amazon, I don't care. Pick one. I'm on like 26 different streaming services. So if you look for Car Audio Enthusiast with the S at the end, all one word, on whatever streaming service you use, you can find my music on there. And I have quite a bit. I have a lot of demo-based music. I've got like 4 different collections of demo music, 5 actually. And then I've got some what I call SQ music, easy listening, chill, laid back. It's usually got a little bit of a bump in bass, but not like a hard bass line like you would see in something that's been rebased. So it's going to have a little bit of a bottom end to it usually, but it's all going to be very SQ oriented. So what else we got going on here? Rick Ross is in the house. What's up, Rick? Matt Litchfield, Berserker. Happy New Year. Hell yeah, man. It is that. We're a few days into it, it looks like. Dubby's in the house. Just make the video shorter. No, man. Funny thing that I used to try to keep my videos down to like 10 minutes ish, but like 40% of the people that watch my videos watch on television. So that tells me, for one thing, that they're using a very high resolution. So I'm having to upload more in 1440p or sometimes in 4K. 4K just takes for freaking ever to upload. It takes like all day to upload a 4K video that's like 25 minutes long. Anyway, I try to upload in higher resolution, and I'm trying to not be so concerned about making the video short because people kick back on the couch and watch. And so having a video that's got some length to it might actually be good for them, being able to enjoy all the ins and outs and not just an abbreviated version. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the stuff that we do is pretty entertaining. Um, but nobody has any questions in here tonight. So, and Mello's in here. What's up, man? So, we're going to look at some stuff that I've gotten on Facebook from some of my friends. Um, and I want to start with, hang on a second, Joseph. So, Joseph has been busy. Um, he's been very busy. I'm going to show you guys what he's working on. Give me just a minute to get to a spot. All right. We'll switch to, I think, this. Yeah. Now I'll go to here. What's up, loser? It's all, man. You're not really, well, you are kind of late, but it's all good. So this is just, if he had to put back the build back together, he was doing a flat wall in here, but he was having trouble with something. And so he is going back to his fourth. And he sent me this shot. This is when he was putting in his primer. He's going to paint it back white in here. He's going to run it like this for a while. But what we were talking about was he could theoretically run as a sixth order. Because right now, this is a sealed chamber down here on the bottom. And then, of course, this is the vented chamber, and there's a port that goes up here. But all he would have to do is drop these two rear subs, just put the front two subs in, and then you could put plugs back here that have ports on them. And he could run this whole thing as a series sixth order. But I wanted to show y'all a couple other things here. That I think this is after he got his fourth back together.
Need restoration, 30,000 watts. Need more power storage. Where am I gonna put it? Under the floor. Let it breathe, let it wave. All that work for the sound that we crave. From the plans to the field to the miles of wide. All life's green on the amplifier.
That's one of my tracks. Yeah, it's slap sticker back there. Hell yeah.
When they climb the side, but they don't know the rest of the base head life. Walls too big, need more brace. Subwoofers need so much more space. Got the port tuned up now, airflow's good. Gotta do a bunch of wiring under the hood. Play all summer and work all winter. Running more power wires in December. Out in the driveway digging snow so I can crawl underneath. Put them where they go. Let it breathe, let it wait. All that work for the sound that we crave. From the plans to the
Hey, Joe ain't messing around, guys.
all life's green on the amplifier. Let the low bass winds blow. Break concrete at the weekend show. People love to ride when they climb the side, but they don't know the rest of the bass head life.
Hell yeah, y'all better recognize. Anyway, that's one of my tracks, and that's Joseph's car. So he's going back to that fourth order, and going to run that for a while and see how that goes. Oh, we got a dinner apparently. I just got a message from our team, and it looks like we got a dinner coming on Saturday, January the 24th. Where are we going to be eating at? CC's Pizza. So if you guys are in the Springfield area, Springfield, Missouri, um, on the 24th of January at 11 a.m., we're going to have a team meal there. And I can assure you there'll be a little bit of ruckus in the parking lot. So, we'd probably run a few demos here and there for people that just happen to show up. So if you guys are interested in picking up something like that this winter, Saturday on the 24th of January at 11 a.m., be at CC's Pizza in Springfield, Missouri. I will be there. We'll be doing a thing there. Like I said, we're always doing something. Let's see here. Kim, Kimball, Kim. I've heard subs with larger surrounds is not good due to stress. Well, a sub with a larger surround has less cone area. That's kind of one of those things that, I mean, people look at a sub with a big fat surround and it's like, oh yeah. And I get that. It's eye candy, right? But the fact is that big fat surround doesn't contribute to the base. The cone does. So the more surround you have, the more real estate you're losing to cone area, which means it's got to make up that difference in a whole lot of throw, or else you're actually losing ground with that large surround. It's just what it is, man. But you said it's not good due to stress. Nah, I wouldn't worry about stress. Um, Not specifically, but definitely you'd be definitely losing cone area. And you think about it, the outside part of the sub is where the cone area is. You shave off a half inch all the way around, and you've you've lost a lot of square inches of cone area. Now, unless that sub is going to move a whole lot front to back to make up for and possibly even be bigger than, you're not gaining anything from it. It's going to look cool though. El Fuego is here from the Pacific Northwest. What's up, El Fuego? Glad to see you here tonight. Oh, somebody, El Fuego asked a good question. Uh, it's going to be raining inside this car soon. Been there, bro. Yeah, that's always a struggle, man. Basehead life. It is what it is. El Fuego said, "What's your go-to pizza?" Man, I used to love eating pizza. I would eat pizza all the time, every day, every single day. Now I'm less of a pizza person, less of a food person in general, but that doesn't mean I don't still have a go-to pizza. My go-to pizza for many, many years was any meat lover style pizza, but that's changed. Now my go-to pizza is a thin crust, a very large, very thin crust, and I want usually sausage, pizza, and then I do like triple bacon and double cheese, and and we add jalapenos and onions. That's my pizza order right there. I want to be able to taste massive amounts of bacon in every single bite, and have some nice kick to it with the jalapenos. Don't go crazy with the jalapenos, but if you order it from Domino's, even if you just order light jalapenos, you're going to get this like jalapeno sauce throughout the pizza. You'll taste jalapenos throughout the whole pizza. So I like it. It's good stuff. Domino's is not the best pizza, but they're one of the best chain pizzas anymore. One of. And my wife likes the chicken bites, the little chicken tenders. She likes those. So she always wants to order those and says, "Hey, what kind of pizza you want?" Because she's going to order, and she wants me to pay for it. So she comes at me with the pizza thing to try to get my eyes to light up. So I hand her my wallet, but it's really about the chicken. So, uh, what's up, Brain Dead? Let's see here. Leadership. I never really thought about the cone area loss. Yeah, that's a big freaking deal right there. That also happens with large voice coils. So people don't consider these things. I mean, so let's talk about a little bit about the topography of a sub. First of all, I want to read what Germany said. My subs took my dome light cover out. Now I can't get my car remote to work every time I put a 7.5 fuse, it blows. Check your wiring up in your headliner and make sure that one of your clips or something from your light hasn't made contact with the metal of the roof. That's kind of what I would look at. Something like that may have happened. Or the two positive and negative clips that hold the light bulb may have somehow connected together. One of those two things. And then the next on the next note is take that light completely out and just use the wires up there to run you some RGB strips in the car. And so that way when you open the door, RGB lights up. You can just have wiring up there and not a whole light fixture that's going to vibrate crazy, and that'll help, give you the use out of your dome light, quote unquote, without having to use that piece of crap dome light that's there. Anyway, what I was going to say was I forgot what I was going to say was. Oh yeah, sub topography. So there's a lot of gives and takes when it comes to designing a subwoofer, and just so you know that although um, I I've been talking to Jacob Fuller a little bit about this, and I already had a pretty good head wrapped around it. So these are just some of the things that you have to consider, and there's a ton of them. Cone area. Anytime you make the voice coil bigger, you take away some cone area. You can try to put that cone area back with a really heavy duty dust cap, but it's only going to work as good as it does. Also, when you make the surround bigger, you take away cone area. So in order to make a sub have a tremendous amount of throw front to back, just with the cone itself, you have to have a smaller voice coil, and you have to have a larger surround, and you have to have a larger spider. That's why your voice coil has to get smaller, because your spider has to get bigger, and there's only so much room under that speaker to put your spider. And whenever you make the voice coil bigger, you make the amount of spider that's going up and down smaller, so it can only go up and down a little bit less. But a larger voice coil handles power better because it cools more efficiently. And it's also more structurally stable, so it holds the cone stiffer and keeps everything linear better, which means it's not as likely to do this floppy thing inside the motor when it's going up and down. It's just wider and more stable. There's so many gives, and it's like, it's crazy. So a linear spider is softer. A progressive spider is softer on the push, and the small movements it's softer, but then it gets stiffer as it goes further and back. And linear spiders are really popular for that, or excuse me, progressive spiders, because it's like a shock on a car that's soft when the wheel moves a little bit, but it gets stiffer as the wheel moves further away. That's what a progressive spider does. And then a progressive spider has a little bitty ribs close together in the middle, and they get wider apart as they go toward the outside edge. A linear spider can be better musically and all the way around because it has a similar control force all the way through. There's just gives and takes, back and forth, back and forth. Everything has a give and take. A copper coil will handle current going through it better, but an aluminum coil will handle the heat of extreme use better. So it's like, what do? The different glues. Different glues have different masses. Different glues have different thermal thresholds. Glues that handle extremely high power better and high heat better are also heavier, so they bring the resonant frequency down. Like I said, everything is a give and take. No matter what you're designing, you have to factor in so much different stuff to make a driver perform within a specific set threshold of performance. And this isn't even going out on the limb and talking about the crazy stuff. This is just basic speaker design. Let's see here. Thin crust. Yeah. Well, you got to get the right toppings, man. Like I said, you just triple the bacon, double the cheese, add the jalapenos and some onions to it, and then get you some ranch sauce for dipping it. That shit's on fire. No, we didn't do pork chops tonight. I let her off on pork chop. Pork chop day was this is the first day in like probably a year we didn't have pork chops. And that's because we did pork chops on uh, New Year's Day. We had pork chops, and I still got some in the fridge. And I had her last night. I had her pick up me some stuff to make sloppy Joe. So we made a big old huge pan of sloppy Joe, and we add you make a big ass pan of sloppy Joe, and then you add some Rotel to it out of the can, the Mexican Rotel, and you get some the packages of seasoning that you make the taco meat with. Dump that in there too, and I just eat it straight. It's just meat and sauce. That's all it is. But then I eat it with chips, and sometimes I'll eat a sandwich of it, whatever, or just eat it with a spoon. But it's good stuff, and I like a lot of cholesterol. I got to have plenty of cholesterol to keep my body functional. Um, but yeah, loser said where the roof rack attached to my SUV turned into rain gutters. Base base problems. Uh, so Fuego said that I retired Darth Vader amp. It's not in retirement. It is just chilling. Um, I really like that amp, and I'm probably going to do. If I do another SQ build, I may put it in there because it's a great amp. Uh, Got to keep Darth Vader. He's still over there. He's chilling. So he's not in retirement. He's just on vacation. We'll say. 'Cause, I mean, look at it, dude. It's a 450-watt amp that's like 15 pounds. I mean, it's huge. It's a big, huge amp that makes 450 watts. This little tiny slaps 160.4 back here. That's the size of a sandwich. Actually, makes more power than that does. So it's completely impractical. That said, it's still a cool old amp, and we can't get rid of it. Um, Today's my birthday. Best gift today. Just turned 60. Congrats, man. Now all you got to do is focus on either not dying or preparing to die. That's what I've been doing for a while now. It's a realistic thing in life. Okay. So how am I going to prepare to die today? And also, what am I going to do today to not die? And how much does those things? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm sorry. That's what I think about every day, man. It's just life. And I know that sucks, but and you go to getting older, you think about it a lot, right? My perspective is I'm trying to get as much stuff going for my wife as I can. All of the stuff that I'm getting going right now with the YouTube thing. Uh, One of the primary reasons for that is this income will continue to come in for a long time after I'm dead. So it's kind of a legacy. And also the information that I'm putting out there and all that stuff is also my legacy. So I'm leaving a legacy with this. That's one of the things. The other one is whatever kills me, kills me. I ain't worried about it no more. I'll keep on going until one of the things that I have in my world kills me. And it probably won't be these, unfortunately. For most people that have been naysaying me for years for smoking, they're probably not going to be the thing that kills me. Funny thing is, the doctor said that when he looks at my lungs, it doesn't look like the lungs of a smoker at all. So I'm not even remotely in a position where that's going to be something that's going to take me out. What's going to take me out is probably heart disease, which was inherited, and or prostate cancer. One of those two things will get me, probably. Maybe both. I don't know. We'll see. But we keep on jamming, no, don't we? And happy 60. You're doing good, man. Keep it up. Fuse tap for your remote wire. Try a fuse tap for your remote wire. It must be referring to a different question. Let's see here. Still contemplating one of the Slaps 5K amps due to the price. What's everyone's take on a full bridge? Full bridge versus half, it's not even something to be concerned about. Literally, completely not even nothing to be concerned about. Uh, what's real is what's real is how efficient the amp is, how much of your power you're putting into it is turned into bass, and how much is being turned into heat. Less heat, better. And for the most part, the old half bridge designs made a lot of heat. So technically, they're less efficient, which means technically full bridge is universally better. On the other note, half bridge seems to be a little bit tougher, at least early on in the full bridge designs showing up on the market. Now, mind you, in case you guys are wondering, the JL Audio Slash amps that everybody says was some of the very best amps that ever got made, they're full bridge. Yeah, right. Don't tell anybody though. You'll have people losing their freaking mind. Uh, full bridge amps are more efficient. They turn typically, not always. Some of them are pretty crap. Scar. um, but yes, they're typically more efficient, and so you're going to get more of the power out of them that you're putting into them, and you're going to overall have a better experience with most full bridge amplifiers. Now, if you're someone who likes to do crazy shit like drop to 1 ohm to a half ohm, a quarter ohm, 3/8 of an ohm, 0.33, all this stuff, and run things right to the bleeding edge all the time, half bridge amps take that abuse better, but they also require a lot more power to do that job. Um, so yeah, and my buddy is running a Sound Digital build, a big nasty one. He's making big freaking numbers with it. But he did the math on his amps, and he's running all Sound Digital amps. Sound Digital? I'm pretty sure it's Sound Digital. Anyway, he did the math on his shit, and he's at like 45% efficiency, which is just stupid bad. Um, was it Sound Digital? Let me go down here and pull up. But he's putting up huge numbers. No, I think it's Tar Amps. Tar Amps, I'm pretty sure. But he's got a horrible efficiency rating. Horrible. It takes many, many, many times more power to get out of it what he thinks he should than it should. And there's just tons of heat. Um, I'm kind of scanning back there to see if I can spot one. Yeah, it's Tar Amps, I'm pretty sure. He's got the 12 or the 15Ks in there. I don't remember exactly. But for the most part, your full bridge is going to give you a better efficiency rating, and you will not notice the difference in the way the two sound. If you match them up to the same amount of output, the same volume level, okay, because all amps are going to have variables there. Use the same DSP them to where the DSP them to where they have the same sound output and the same volume output. You could sit there and go back and forth between the worst piece of crap half bridge or the best half bridge ever and the worst full bridge. And if they're set up the same, you won't hear the difference in the two of them. They literally sound identical. There's no difference whatsoever. Um, so yeah, don't worry about that. The Slaps 5K, the Shock 5K, that's the one you're looking at. There's two different 5Ks. Uh, all of the amps on Slaps right now are full bridge. The 5K that you see on there is also a full bridge amp. It's a different topography than the Shock 5K. I can't speak on those because I haven't personally had them. However, I can tell you, based on many dynos that have been run on them, that they make significantly more power than what they're rated at. So that 5K, from what I understand, is capable of something near 8,000 watts. The SDC, they are underrated pretty severely. Um, let's see here. Facts. I'm blind in one eye and cataracts in the eye, and I stay by myself. One day at a time, bro. Uh, hey, man, congrats on that. I'm glad you did. Yep. What kills me kills me. Uh, hey, brother. No, man. I just keep it real. I'm not about blowing sunshine up nobody's ass. Every day that I wake up, I'm like, well, shit, I did it again. Now I got to find something to do, to be productive today. Like for some reason, I woke up again, so here we go. Uh, let's see here. I noticed that full bridge. I know the Slaps full bridge has more power, and I'm probably only going to be able to run at 2 ohms. Uh, honestly, man, I would go with the Shock 5K. Um, I'm not sure what you're powering it with, right? What you're powering with it. I would run. I mean, I just know what the Shock series does, and the Shock 8K at 3.2 ohms impedance rise still makes over 5,000 watts, which is insane. So if you're running a higher ohm load than you would like to be running, you'll be very pleased with what the power that Shock 8K or the Shock 5K can do at those higher ohm loads. You might be surprised just how much power you get out of it. And I don't know about the SDC amps as far as that goes, as far as how they handle power output at high impedance rise. I know the 8K handles them very well, that Shock series. Uh, Into voice cool. Okay, we're gonna have to just open this one up. Unbanned my 360. High precision inner through hole voice coil motor laundry. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Sounds good though. My subs need more love. 1500 watts RMS. I'm only sending 1600 watts. Yeah, I typically, and now I'm not the best example to follow. I really ain't, because I do crazy dangerous shit to my equipment all the time, like constantly. Like my shit never gets an easy life. It's always either off or going full tilt all the time. But I run my slaps gear. I'm running one 8K for 2 subs. So I'm running 2 8Ks on 4 15s, which are rated at 2,000 watts RMS. So I'm putting about 4,000 watts RMS on each sub, if you're going by the numbers, what the amp is capable of at 1 ohm, which is what it's rated at. However, as I stated, the impedance rise is a thing. Okay, because as your sub starts moving, it starts turning into a motor, and it's generating power and sending it back toward the amplifier, which is impeding the power going to the subwoofer. That is important because it can be quite a bit. And I know from running the watt meter in there that I can do around 5,000 watts at 3.2 ohms of impedance rise. Now, that means that 5,000 watts at full tilt boogie, I'm sending about 2,500 watts per sub uh, from one amplifier and then the second amplifier. I said all that to say this. I have learned to pretty much always double the power on my amplifier of what my RMS on my sub is. Because after impedance rise, you're always going to be at like 3 or 4 ohms, and you're going to be getting about half the power out of that amp as it was rated at. And then as long as you're careful and you use your brain just a little tiny bit, you can absolutely get away with it. Now, on inexpensive subs, um, I'm not sure what stuff you're running exactly, but on an inexpensive sub, you might want to stay well below that. You want to stay down there in that RMS range. But if you're running something that's got some steel, some metal in it, you know what I mean? like the Slaps Oblivions or the Slap Smackdowns, for example, or pretty much anything that's made by, um, the big companies, the bigger subs, with much more expensive, but anything that's got a little bit of heat dissipation built into it, heat soaking built into it, and good cooling, you can run about double power, which is what I tend to do. I know it's a lot of wishy washy information because the world is a wishy washy place. It's not a concrete black and white environment we live in. There's a whole lot of little gray variables that float around and get and mess up all that exact information. Um, Fuego says, my old school Orion amps are American made class AB, horrible efficiency. Yeah, 50%. Yeah, you really will. And that brings up a point, guys, on the Trunk Thunder Lithium thing. So, the last information I got from Brandon at Trunk Thunder Lithium was that he's doing his best to produce everything that everyone's ordered already. Um, and he's going to try to catch all that up because he's literally, the shipment that's on the way to his house right now is all sold. All of it is sold. And he hasn't even got them yet. He's got to go to work building banks and sending them out. The shipment that's behind that one is partially sold. He's not taking any more orders. If you guys have noticed, he has out of stock on everything because he don't want to stay behind. He's wanting to catch up, and hopefully by the end of this month, he says he's hoping by the end of this month he'll be caught up and he'll be back to where he's able to take orders and send them out within 48 hours of receiving the order. He said right now it's been like 48 days. He wants to get back to 48 hours. So he's working hard to get that done. So if you guys ordered a battery a month ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or a month and a half ago, whatever, be patient. It's coming. Okay. It's just a matter of when he gets the equipment and when he gets done building everything and testing everything, certifying everything, and then shipping it out. It'll be coming to you as soon as possible. And if you guys are having trouble getting a hold of him, again, it's because his life is completely busy right now. Sometimes he'll answer my messages the same day, or maybe even minutes after I send them. Sometimes it's a week, or sometimes he never answers at all. I have to send him another one. He's just not on social media. He's freaking working. And he has a life too. He has kids and all this other stuff. He's coaching a softball team. I don't know if they're doing that right now, probably, but I mean, yes, he does. He did a bunch of stuff. So be patient. It is coming. Okay. Germany. Oh yeah. Jeezy, what's up, man? MMAT's M Series Full Bridge say they make rated plus with lighter amp draw. Are you familiar with them? M Mats. I'm not familiar with that amplifier specifically. I know the brand, um, but I'm sure it's like a lot of other ones. It's basically a clone of a bunch of other amps. That's what we have on the market right now. I mean, if you look at all of the less expensive, meaning most of the stuff that people are buying on a regular basis, amplifiers on the market right now, there's probably maybe 15 different designs that are all getting used over and over again. I mean, why reinvent the wheel when you're wanting exactly the same thing as this? If this works, just use that. That's what everybody's doing. You put a different name on it, charge a different price, and you put it out there. It's the same amplifier. And that's the way a whole lot of this stuff is getting done, including Sundown. The Sundown Full Bridge designs are all used designs. Are they good? Yes. They're excellent amplifiers. They're nothing special, though. Just because they say Sundown doesn't make them all of a sudden amazing. They're just good amplifiers. And everybody's doing it. Steve Meade's amplifiers, I guarantee you, same thing. They're probably a variant of a DS18 amp that's already out. Everybody's doing it. That's how you do it. That's how you go. You go to AliExpress or to another company like AliExpress. You find something you like. You have them. You talk to them. They'll send you one to test. Maybe you get them to do a logo on the amp, to create your packaging for you. They'll create the box, the packaging, internal, the instructions, everything. You'll pay for 1,000 of them or a few hundred of them, and they'll send them to you, and then you turn around and sell them. That's how this works. Um, if you're the one that's doing the buying, you have to buy a whole lot, and you have to pay the shipping overseas. You have to pay the tariffs from getting them shipped overseas. You got to pay the dock fees and all the different investigation fees, the import duty, taxes, and all that crap. So it adds to the price of what you're paying off of Alibaba. And then you turn around and sell it, and people go, oh, okay, and they'll pay this much for that. You usually make a few dollars off of each one because you're having to spend so much money in the other fees that no one sees that, wow, that rhymed, that you're not making a ton of money off of it. So, but that's how everybody does this. If you want to get into a business of owning your own electronics providing brand, this is how you do it. It's real simple. You need a bunch of money to start with and a warehouse, and you got to have people that'll ship stuff out for you. You need to go to people like me to try to help promote your brand. That's how it works. It's real simple. Or you can just spend a little bit more than what you'd pay at Alibaba and get it from somebody else with their name on it. These are your options. Bobby B. Oh, yeah, Bobby B is on top of his shit. What's up, Bobby? Bobby says, why? Big audio brands. And that's not entirely true. So a few of them are. For example, like Kicker. Kicker is always innovating. But again, they innovate, they design, they make stuff that's awesome. Yes. Where is it getting built at? Overseas. They are making a boutique brand. It is a boutique item. In other words, nobody else has a Kicker clone amplifier. At least not until their patents, run out or whatever. But they're building them in the same build house, just with a different set of instructions. And if you look at the budget lines of some of these other companies, the big companies, they're almost always completely populated by clone amps of other amps. They may not look the same. They may look completely different. They may look identical with different names, or they may look like two totally different amplifiers, different everything, until you get into the board and you go, oh, that's the same board as in this amp. And it literally is the same board. So the difference is you call up the company and say, I want this amp, but I want to use this type of capacitors in it, and I want the board to be in this color with my name on the board, blah, 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 blah. And then you get that. Somebody else orders the same exact amplifier, and they say, I want the board to be this color, and I want this type of caps, and I want this type of stuff, and I want my name. And then you end up with the same exact board with some slight variations in components on the board, but it's the same amplifier. And if you want a this size amplifier that works good, why build a different one when this one does the job? This is going to cost you this much. Designing something from the ground up is going to cost you an infinite amount of money. That's not good for business. And can you really design any more into that amplifier to make it worth the cost of that design? That's the question. And are the people that are willing to buy that equipment going to pay the extra amount for all those features you're adding? That are they going to actually want to use those features? Are they needing those features? So a lot of times whenever you're producing a new piece of equipment, you have to spend a whole lot of time explaining to people what these new features are and how they will help you, so that they understand why they're paying so much more for a similar product because of these features, right? And not every company wants to play that game because it's a dangerous game. You spend billions of dollars developing something, and then no one can afford to buy it, or they feel like they want those things anyway. and then you got warranty issues, and then that's the thing. So like if you don't sell a whole lot of a product, and then you start having warranty problems, and that product is a fairly small run, you don't even have anything to send them. They send you their amp, it's blown up. You got to get it hand repaired or whatever, or something, because you can't even send them. You don't have any more. They're all gone because they sucked, right? Nobody wanted them or whatever. It's a really big issue. Um, oh, US amps. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, an amplifier is an amplifier. I mean, the fact is, everybody out there building on amplifiers knows, every single one knows what it takes to build a really good amplifier that meets everybody's criteria. They all know this. They all know these things. They also all know how much it costs to build that same amplifier, and they know how much people are willing to pay for what they can't see, right? So if the amplifier looks identical to one that's not built as well and it works the same, but it will last much longer, people don't care. They want the thing that makes the power and they want to pay less money. So finding someone who's really putting the design features in to make an amplifier be durable and long lasting and all that, and give you the features you want, but not the features you don't need, and still keeping the price in check, it's a huge thing. Slaps has managed to done that, to do that, to done, did, and Dan done all that. They've done it well. They picked really good equipment to run. They made the minor tweaks that need to be made to make it better. Change out the components that they felt were the best ones to put in, and get to keep reliability on a high level and consistency. And they're selling the stuff for pennies on. They're making tiny amounts of profit. Tiny amounts of profit. Alan says when he ships a sub from East Coast to the West Coast, it actually costs him money to sell it. Often, it literally cost him to send that. He don't make any money off of it at all. That's how close his margins are. Uh, JL Audio, Rockford, Helix are not the same as Sundown or cheap audio brands. Most of those companies have patents on their amplifiers, and you don't find the one like it. It's true. Uh, I don't know about Helix. I can't speak on Helix, but I would assume so. But yes, absolutely. JL amps are JL amps. I mean, they don't internally, externally, nothing about them looks like anything else. Same thing with the kicker amps. Kicker's the same way. But the question becomes, what are you paying for when you buy, say, for instance, a Rockford 1,000 watt amp? What are you paying for? What are you getting? Right? Are you paying for the boutique design? Does that design actually help make it a better amplifier? Are you paying for the name? Does the name make it a better amplifier? Or are you paying for the product of the bass that comes out of that amplifier? And is that price on that amplifier justified with the output of it? Does it justify spending that extra money, or is the justification that it has Rockford Fosgate on the shell? These are the questions you have to ask. Company is not the equipment. A brand name is not equipment. Equipment is equipment. If I took the name off of those amplifiers, all of them, and you had to shop by the specs versus the price of what you actually got, would they be worth as much? Would they be as valuable? Or would they be overpriced? These are the questions you have to ask. Everybody has to ask these questions. Some people, I get it. You want a total Rockford Fosgate build. Rockford's a known brand. They've been around forever and ever and ever. They make good stuff. But what you're buying, is it the equipment or are you buying the name? That's the question. running a DSP out to an amp. Amp is a 4-channel. Would it cause issue if I split one channel from DSP to 4 channels on amp? I'm going to try to reread this. I think I understand what you're asking. So the amp is a 4-channel amp, and you're sending, I'm guessing you're supposed to be sending 4 signals to that amp to have each individual channel. But what you're talking about doing is possibly splitting up and sending 2 split channels to 2 different, like sending it 2 signals, but splitting it into 4 RCAs. So you know that none of that will hurt anything. It won't affect anything. It'll literally just give you the same signal from those 2 paths. Voltage doesn't divide that way. So if you're worried about dividing voltage, you're not dividing voltage or dividing power. And voltage is going to stay the same. You could take that 1 RCA and split it into 20 RCAs and send each one of those signals out, and every one you test will have the same voltage as the original. Voltage is going to propagate consistently. Current gets split, but you're not worried about current. You're only sending a signal. You're not trying to drive a speaker. You're just literally telling the amplifier what to do. And voltage will split up fine. So no, that's not an issue. I think that's basically what you're asking. So that's not a problem. How many total feet of wire would you guess are in my build? Oh, good grief. Total feet. And he's talking about speaker wire. Oh, Lord. Well, okay, let's do a quick generalization. I got about 100 feet of power and ground wire in there. Right at it, maybe a little bit more. And probably about that much speaker wire running from place to place. And just a few RCAs. It would be a heavy ass box of wire. That's what it would be. A real heavy box. 100 feet of alt gauge. And then I've got a little bit. No, I don't think I have any. I have a tiny bit of smaller gauge running to my little smaller amps. Very little. It's crazy, man. But yeah, and the amount, and it's not so much wire, it's time and lugs and fuses and time. There's so much of things. DSP amplifiers. Haven't seen the budget audio companies doing anything like that, but I guess there's a market for all types of customers. Well, DSP amplifier. Okay, so let's look at that. And I know audio control and JL and a lot of guys do that. But here's the thing. If you want a DSP for your system to control all your amplifiers, and if you want amplifiers in your system, which you obviously do since you're running a DSP because it can't drive speakers, right? Why? The real reason is why combine the DSP with the amplifier? For some people, being able to incorporate a high-level input, DSP, and amplifier all into one package is good for small space, compact installs. It's a very specific product for a very specific install, right? And that's cool. But then if you say, oh, well, I love this setup, but I want to add more power to my sub. Now you've got another amplifier, and you can't get rid of this one because this is where your DSP is. So you're stuck with this. Even if you add other amps, you're still stuck with this. It's a thing that's going to take up space. You're going to eventually have to get rid of it to get a different thing. And that kind of scenario, guess what that does? It sends you back to the shop to get more stuff. Whereas if you buy a DSP separately, like that V2 up there on the wall, you buy that by itself, you can use it with any amplifier. So when you make that one single purchase of a DSP, you can literally use that DSP build after build after build, car after car after car. And that DSP is like $160. It's 6 in, 10 out with limiters and everything. It's really cool. So that's the thing. Most of your companies realize that it's more flexible for people to separate those items. But yes, I know JL absolutely has some wicked DSP amplifier combos. Audio Control has some. They're really, really good. If you're doing a small build where you're putting a small sub and some speakers and doors and stuff, you can get one thing that can take care of the entire build. That's awesome. That means less wiring. That means less space. All of those things. It means for a very clean install. Again, though, if you want to change any equipment at that point, you're kind of screwed. So it's a niche product for a niche group of people. That's my take on it. Not saying it's bad. It's just not for everybody. And whenever you separate the components up the way most people are doing it, it kind of can be for everybody. And if you're wondering about size, this combo right here, these two little guys right here. Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to put my hand on this. That's the amplifier. It starts right here, goes to here. It's my size of my hand. This and this can absolutely run an entire small system quite well. And I know because I've got right now I've got a 12 on that little amp, but I had a 15 on it, and I mean I'm shaking the house in here. I've got they're using 2 channels for the left and right mids and highs, and then I'm bridging the other 2 for the sub, and it's very capable of playing the whole damn, shaking this whole house and rocking out inside here. And that little tiny amp with that little tiny DSP can fit in your freaking glove compartment. So size isn't the thing that makes them awesome. You know, it's just convenience. It's the brand. It's the name. You know, it's the look. I don't know. It's not sometimes. I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes the question is not can you. The question is should you. That's what I'm saying. Jensen has amps with built-in DSP channels, monoblock. Cool. I hadn't seen that, but I'm down with it. You know, there's always going to be places for stuff like that. Always going to be places. Hello, Gary and crew. What's up, David? Oh man, yeah, that's old school. T1500s. Yeah. Steve Mead loves some Rockford Fosgate. I used to run a whole bunch of them. I got no problem with Fosgate or any of those guys. In fact, in my opinion, the best thin sub you can buy is the JL TW3 and JL TW5. And the best tweeters or Fosgate. I like the base ones, the Fosgate T1s. I think they're really awesome little tweeters. If you're looking for standard issue, normal tweeters, not super tweeters. So 2 companies, and there's a couple of products I love from those companies. Alpine's oh shit, can't think of the name of it now. Not the S series, not the E series. Yeah, I can't think of it. They have my brain turns off. I'm old and I got like a low blood flow going on. So sometimes just right out of my head. But I have a group of things that I like from different companies. I I don't care for their whole line maybe, but I do like certain things. Um, Let's see here. Joe Daddy, El Fuego said, past his bedtime on a school night. No shit. He was up last night pestering me to go live. He was. He was pestering me last night to go live. Get her done, man. Um, but yeah, we're busy doing stuff. So I got that stereo put in today and test drove it, test played it some. Sounds good. I'm noticing my voltage dipping a little bit quicker than I think it should, but I got to dig a little bit more testing to find out if it's dropping in anywhere where it shouldn't go to. I'm like, it may be fine, but I'm also pulling the voltage from a different location in the Tahoe right now. And so it may be kind of biased and kind of a roundabout voltage, which is losing over connection after connection after connection. I'm going to have to hook up to the bank and see where it's dropping to find out for sure if that's actually an issue. Because as long as the bank is staying above, right at 13 volts or above, I'm happy with that. That's totally fine. But I'm working that over, and I've got I think my ground system going back. I want to show you guys that. Hang on a second. Let me dig in my pocket real quick. I want to show y'all some shit. Take you to school. We're going to school tonight. Yep, I still got it in my pocket. I saved this because I wanted you guys to see this. So, the ground strap that runs from your engine block to the body of your car, right? The one you see in the engine bay when you open it up and look around, you see that ground strap. Well, that's what this bolt right here is. What it connects to. These bolts stick out, and then you got a little nut that goes in the ground strap connects to this. Well, I'm going to show y'all up close here. You see that gray part of that metal in the back of that bolt? I don't know how well it's going to focus. Y'all see that gray part? That's the metal that bolt is sticking to. Not much metal there. Okay. So the way that bolt is attached, it is welded in place. They spot welded it from the back side. So if you can look and see in that dent, how that's shaped. So they're spot welding it. They put the bolt up against the metal, and then they're spot welding it behind it to weld that bolt in place. But the metal that bolt is connected to is thin, not much there. And that is what most people are relying on to get their voltage from their ground, from their alternator to wherever, all over the place. And it's absolutely tiny. It's an absolutely thin, tiny amount of metal behind this bolt. Okay. This is off of my Tahoe. All right. This is one of the ground bolts. It's located on the firewall. And I broke this one off on purpose. I wanted to see what was going on behind that. So I've been using that for a while for a main primary ground to get power to the body. And I'm having all that power is having to go through that tiny thin piece of silver, that silver part of the back of that bolt right there. That's all there is. That's all that metal is. It's not much. So if you haven't dug into what's going on under your hood ground wise, you should. And I am doing this. That's been the primary ground I've been using for a long time to charge 2 lithium banks, big ones, 2 alternators. I'm sending all that power through that, basically. That's changing. So y'all know. But I wanted to show you guys that. That's not much metal. That little silver part. The black part don't count, just the little silver part. It's not much. Germany said, wait till you hit 60. Joe Daddy hadn't showed up tonight. That is surprising. I can't say how long I have to be up at 4 a.m. I had a voltage question for you, Gary. Okay. I finished all my electrical internally regulated at 14.8, MechMan 400. Now, if the weather's cold, my voltage stays up at 15 volts. If you're running on a computer, if your vehicle's computer is controlling your charging circuit, it will do that. It will go up in voltage um, during the cold weather. It'll also change other times too. Like when the thing gets hot, it'll do different things with the voltage. If you run more lights, if you're running more equipment in your vehicle, sometimes the voltage will change. That's kind of normal. Also, the other detail about that is when an alternator is colder, it actually charges better. So alternators like to be cold. Batteries like to be warm, but not hot. And amps like to be cold. So you're going to notice things fluctuate around as the temperatures change outside. Colder amps and colder alternators means more power, but the batteries won't work as good. So you'll have less pull out of the batteries, so forth and so on. But yeah, that's perfectly normal for the computer regulated charging to do that crazy stuff. You may even see little bits of higher than that. As long as it's not sustained higher than that, you're probably okay. And you're saying internally regulated 14.8 volts. So yeah, that's not going to be computer regulated. My bad. But you're still dealing with a fresh cold arc alternator that's kicking out, maximum amount of its ability. So it may jump up a little bit. Yeah, I just read that, Dave. I'm sorry, man. My brain didn't process that the first time. But yeah, you're still dealing with that. Still dealing with the fresh cold alternator making a little bit more extra power. That's not abnormal. It's frustrating whenever you're running something that has a maximum charging voltage of 14.8. But as long as it's not staying there, you're saying it stays there, you may want to call McMahon. If you're running lithium that has a very hard limit of 14.8 volts, you don't want to sit on it like that. Every now and then, it's one thing, but consistently locking in, that's not good. I have DD4MA and the Magic High Voltage Protect is 15 volts. Okay. I drove for 11 hours with very little window of time when the amp will turn on. Um, if you're not running, it's not a terrible thing except for your amp. Your amp says, "Screw you, I don't like it." There's not really a way to fix that other than different alternator or like a DC to DC charger or some kind of bizarre ass solution like that. The only logical solution, the most inexpensive solution, is get a different amplifier. You know, I mean, slaps are rated up to 16, I think. Let me go look before I run my mouth. I'm pretty sure they're rated up to 16 volts, 9 to 16. A lot of other companies are too, but slaps are very inexpensive. So if we look at the Shock 8K, for example, 9 volts to 16 volts, yeah. So they'll definitely handle 16 volts, which is a volt higher than what you're charging, a whole volt higher. Uh, and what are you running? The M4A? How much power is that? Is that a M4A? Let me look that up. You'll probably tell me before I find it, though. DD Audio M4A, 7,000 watts. That's a pretty amplifier, man. Hold on, let me go and pull it up. I mean, I just call it like I see it, guys. That's a pretty amplifier. I like the understated, clean lines of that amplifier. It's pretty. Um, it's pretty, yes. But okay, so that's a 5 volt maximum input and continuous wattage. That's its output. I don't know where its input voltage is, but you already said it's cutting off at 15. But we're looking at a 7,000 watt amp. So yeah, just come over to Slaps. You know, pick up the Shock 8K 369. Use discount code CAE to knock some money off of that, and you'll be able to run 9 to 16 volts, 8,000 watts, rock solid power. Your problem goes away. In fact, the system will love the higher voltage. You'll probably get more power than that out of it. That's the benefit of running higher voltage, is that you don't need to run as much current. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, as long as your equipment can handle 15 volts. Um, and yeah, that's probably the least expensive thing to do. El Fuego says, I remind him of Morton Downey Jr. with the smokes. You know what's funny is most of these actors, you see them, they're on TV, on movies and stuff. They never smoke. If they smoke, they never smoke. Y'all know, y'all remember Beverly Hillbillies? I mean, everybody in here is old enough to remember Beverly Hillbillies, or at least in syndication. Granny, little scrawny woman, she was absolutely a chain smoking person. She smoked constantly. When they were filming her, she always had a cigarette, and she laid that cigarette down for the shot and picked it right back up as soon as the camera was off of her. She was smoking constantly. Granny was a hard smoker, man. So on the new ones, they went up to 16 volts. Interesting. Yeah, running around at 15 volts is a pretty, in this climate, with the way everybody runs today, an amp that shuts down at 15 volts is going to see a whole lot of trouble codes. You know, a whole lot of people calling in going, my amp keeps turning off, because so many people are charging at pretty close to that. I can see that being a huge freaking customer support nightmare. First time doing adding second battery lithium from alternator to isolator to second battery, going to leave factory battery alone. Uh, Better find the good grounds. Yeah, okay. There's a whole lot in there, chicken, to cover. So I'm gonna dip through all of that. A lot of people will do the isolator and put it on the lithium. And the problem with that is isolators are limited to set amount of power. Now, if you're going to run an isolator, let's see if I have one pulled up here on one of my tabs. I usually keep these tabs. I had a whole lot of Corvette stuff. We were doing research. Corvettes. I don't have it pulled up. Go over to battery hookup and find the 500 amp isolator. It's a gray isolator. 500 amps is $15. Buy like 2 of those. Everybody in here needs to go do that right now. Buy 2 of them, put them on a shelf, because one day you will need them and you won't find them anywhere. Not at that price, at that amperage. And these are solid industrial grade, freaking really, really good relays. So here's the thing. You're still looking at a limit of 500 amps. That's roughly a 5,000 watt system. Most people that are running lithium are running more than that. And that means that the isolator is going to be stressing to try to let the amperage through that you're looking for. This is why I chose to run the isolator on my factory battery. So I just went to where my alternator connects to my factory battery and connected the isolator to that and then ran from the isolator to the factory battery. I control that with an ignition wire. So I turn the ignition on, the battery connects, and the car starts right up. When the ignition is turned off, the battery disconnects, and now the batteries can sit separately. But the key is this leaves the big open cable running from my battery to my alternate to my amplifier with nothing in between it, my big batteries. This is why I did it this way. And in most cases, the wire going from your alternator to your battery is connected to a little distribution panel with a fuse in it. You can totally bypass that or add a link to it, putting the isolator in between, and leave the battery hooked up to the car like it normally is, right? It's still putting power out to the car, but it's not actually getting alternator power when it's turned off, nor is it connecting to that back battery. This is why I did it the way I did it. So hopefully you understand that. The second detail was alternator to second battery. Okay. Leave the factory battery alone. That last part is the good grounds thing. There's 150,000 ways to get good grounds in a vehicle. I mean, everyone's going to tell you a million different ways you can do it. A real popular thing to do is to go down to the frame if your car has a frame and clean it off, run bolts through there, captive nuts, everything, use the frame. But the surefire way to do it in modern times, because most people don't have a frame on their car anymore. It's a mono shell body. There's no frame. And if you connect to the body, you're still dealing with all the same stuff like this. You're dealing with this. The only surefire way to run solid grounds from your alternator to your rear battery is to run ground cable back there, all the way back there. And it's going to cost you, for most people, about $125. And I want to show you how. Hang on a minute. I'm going to go over to my, or maybe I'm not because I'm an idiot. Okay. All right. Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. So right here, this is what you want, guys. If you're going to run this under your car, come in here, pick the black variety. This is red. This is Tempco 2 alt gauge welding wire. You get 25 feet for $126. For most people, one run of this is going to be enough, going from front to back, to carry your ground and your power. So what you can do is you could order black, and there's all different footages down here. But you can order, there's a whole lot of different options. But like, for example, this set right here, what's this? Let me look at this. Okay. This would be perfect, right? For most people, this would be perfect to run this basically is the same size as an alt gauge. 2 alt welding wire is almost exactly the same size as 1 alt car audio wire. This is my go-to wire for pretty much everything, especially outside of the vehicle. Long runs where I'm worried about stuff. And you can see one of the reasons why. Try that with your Sky-High wire. Let me know how that works out for you. And they're not just supporting one end. They have the whole truck sitting on this wire with lugs. Not joking. Look at this. Hang on. Look at this. That is lugs and all. Crimped lugs holding that wire. That's how strong that wire is. And that's just one example of how good it is. It's also capable of handling extreme amounts of heat. So this is my go-to wire, especially when I'm trying to run under a car, outside of a car, anywhere where there might be places where things get in danger. This is the wire that I choose. Now, going this route, you can get you 15 foot of black and 15 foot of red for $144, which is a good deal. And you figure if you want to run, that's going to be able to carry you into the like any alternator that you run, because you're not worried about how much power you're going to pull on the whole vehicle. You're not worried about how much power your amplifier is pulling. What you're doing is being able to carry the power that your alternator is putting out at maximum output. So if you got a 400 amp alternator with good solid wire like this, you could run 400 amps over one of these over the course of that 15 feet. It would be close, but it would still do it. And that would give you the positive and the ground run. If you want to really be safe, you'd run two of them. And that's what I've been running is two powers, but I'm about to go to 4 power wires and 2 extra ground wires to be able to carry power. But this is where you want to go to get your wire. Come over here. I don't have any codes because I'm not affiliated with these guys. And this wire is stiffer than car audio wire. It's not nowhere near as flexible. So understand that if you're trying to make tight bends, it's not going to want to do that at all. But it will absolutely do those runs from the front of the car to the back of the car and give you a jacket that'll be virtually indestructible. And also to heat as well as to friction and to tension and all those things. It's really tough. You don't have to worry about it getting jacked up underneath the car or in the floorboard or wherever you got it run. It's going to take all kinds of torture, which is exactly what you want. And the price is reasonable considering the price of copper these days. So I'll throw in, and by the way, again, I reiterate, don't get the 1 alt gauge, get 2 alt. 2 alt is going to fit. You see, I've got 2 valid verified purchases right here. This is just from Amazon, but I'll grab you guys a link and put it in the chat over here, so y'all can check it out. You can go look at it, and if I can make that work, I'll put it in there. There we go. I'll throw that link in there so you guys can go look at it. But that is the wire I recommend for everybody, for everything, especially outside the car. Now, once you get inside the car, once you're trying to make twisty turnies and do fancy boards and stuff, that's different. You can compromise on some of that amazing strength to get that nice, soft, flexible wire. You could use New Concepts wire for that. It works great, and it's probably one of my biggest recommenders for inside the car stuff. Or you can use your favorite wire with your favorite brand name on it. Or if you want to stick with welding wire and have that really indestructible wire, but have super flexible version, then pick up FlexWhip, FlexWhip. I don't know if it comes in any color besides orange, but you can always work with that. And it's as tough as this stuff is, but it's also very flexible. It's a little bit more pricey though. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a damn. Just wait. Would you look at it?
Hey, guess what? Taco loves tacos, yeah, that's his scene. Crunching all day like a taco machine. Hard shell, soft shell, spicy, supreme. Always eating tacos, favorite cuisine. Taco, 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 taco. Crunchy, crunchy. With taco machine. Touch.
Tacos. Hell yeah, brother. Would you just look at it? Super chat from Gregory. What's up, man? I have a 2022 GMC Sierra 5.3. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm letting that absorb in my brain. We're running 2 Cadence QR 80.4s, 500 watt amp for mids and highs, and 1 Cadence 2000 0.1 2K for subs. Anything else I should consider besides the big 3? So the reality is about 200 amps, because you're not going to be pushing that 2000.1 with a sine wave constantly. It's going to be closer to half that. Factoring everything in, I'd figure you're probably going to slap your head on the ceiling pretty regularly at 200 amps. dude, a lot of people will tell you. Some people in chat may even tell you. I haven't even read the chat past this yet. That a stock system with a big three is fine. It's not. It's not gonna. Your headlights are gonna dim and shit. You're not gonna be totally happy with that. Um, Here's the facts, man. An AGM battery can only be charged at about 30 to 50 amps constantly, and they're pulling 200 amps out of it, which means after you run it for a little while, you're going to have drained enough power out of that battery that you're going to be trying to pull it from the alternator. The alternator is still trying to put power in the battery, but it can only put in 50 amps at a time, and you're pulling 200 amps. It just can't put that power back in there as fast as you remove it. That's why this problem happens. And here's the really screwed up part. In order for you to run AGM batteries and stop this, you would need to have enough throughput in AGM storage to handle 200 amps, which means 4 AGM batteries. I know that's crazy, but it's true. I know I've done it. I mean, I'm not just talking about hypothetical. I had many AGMs in vehicles. That's what it takes to do 2,000 watts. The alternative is a small lithium battery right by your amplifier. That's going to change the entire game. And the reason is the lithium battery will have a C rating much higher and will be able to take in all that power that you're pulling out. So it's actually going to be able to let the alternator, because your alternator can only give you the power that can go through the battery. It's not making enough power to power your whole system, but it also can't put in as much power into the battery as you're taking out. No matter what you do to it, you still got to deal with that AGM chemistry. Adding that lithium back there will allow the amp to pull power out of the lithium, and the alternator will be like, hey, I can shove tons of power in there. And it'll help keep the whole system stable. The lithium doesn't fix the system, and it doesn't add more power to the system. It just makes the throughput proper so that you can actually use it like a cushion between the alternator and the amplifier. You'll pull a bunch of power out of it, and then when the song ends or in pauses, the amplifier puts power, that alternator puts power back in. So it acts like a cushion, and it keeps the power flowing steadily to your amplifier. And what do I recommend? There's a whole lot of possibilities. But if I had to guess, I'd say you're doing a daily driver kind of a setup. You're not doing a lot of crazy stuff with it. So let me go over to Big Jeff and see if he has them in stock yet. Bear with me just a second. I just want to find out if he has them in stock right now. Okay, it looks like, oh, it's out of stock. So I'll show you anyway. So these guys right here, when they come back in stock, are good for, it says it's good for 6,000 watts. It's not even close, but it's solid for about 3,000 watts. So I would absolutely suggest one of these guys right beside your amplifier, as close to your amp electrically as you can get it. In other words, power runs that are as short as possible, running from that battery to your amplifier. And then you run your power runs you would have been running to the amplifier, run those to the battery. So put it in there, right in there close, and that amplifier is going to love you. Not to mention the fact that this is a relatively small battery. It can fit in a fairly tight place. It needs to go inside your car, though, not under the hood. And they're not in stock right now. So keep an eye out. And if you get one of these, be sure and use discount code CAE to save money on your purchase. So anything from Big Jeff, you can use discount code CAE to save money there. Let me go back up here. I missed a couple people. Oh, crap. Wait, what are you doing here? Okay. First time adding a second battery from alternator. Yes. Okay, I covered that. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody when I jumped to that. Appreciate it. It's my first time with lithium. High output alt combo. Yeah, things can be kind of weird. Weird. Uh, Back to you, says Carlos, says I'm running a 270 MechMan and my '06 Lexus GS 430. Can't figure out what battery to run. I want to run two 4K amps on the Sundown M10. Right now, there's a few options out there, but I don't like recommending the sketchy pro stuff to people who are new to the game. So I would suggest you either look at what I'm pointing at right now on the screen with two 4Ks. See, he sells these in bunches. So if you go back, you can get one, or you can get two, or you can get four. Two of them might be okay. I would say uh, probably three of those. Now there's other batteries down here. The thing is, price per performance and what they actually give you, it just doesn't really stack up. You can spend more money and get less, and it's in stock. Okay, that's the thing. But you're spending more money and you're getting less and the price, that's the price you're paying for getting it right now. So I would suggest either picking up three of these guys because they scale real nicely, or going over to Trunk Thunder Lithium and keeping an eye out for whenever he starts putting these back in stock again. This is the battery that you really want. But it's going to be a lot of battery. You might be able to survive off the 5K. The 5K will run about 8,000, 9,000 watts. So it would probably be fine for your setup, and it's significantly less expensive. Again, it is currently out of stock, but this little battery here is the equivalent of two of the big Jeff batteries at less the price. So this is the best value and a reliable, rock solid battery. That would be what I would look at. But you're going to have to wait till they come back into stock because they are out of stock right now. You're probably looking at about a month. So just a heads up. There's other options out there, man. But if you don't, if you're not at that level where you've already had lots of lithium, you've messed with lots of lithium batteries, and you've got to kind of learned about them, you're not ready for that shit yet. And I don't like recommending people to jump into that with their, brand new, because I don't want to see anybody burn their stuff up, and that's what can happen if you don't know what you're doing. The batteries I'm recommending are stuff that I know is safe. I know they're solid. I know they'll take the abuse that you're likely to give them, and I know that you won't have to do much except just hook them up, and they're good. And that's why I'm suggesting these batteries. Okay. Yes, there's other options out there, but you're not really ready for those options, not without a whole lot of learning. Um, what else? Oh, more ducks. He said, let Taco run.
Hey, guess what? Taco loves tacos, yeah, that's his scene. Crunching all day like a taco machine. Hard shell, soft shell, spicy, supreme. Always eating tacos, favorite cuisine. Taco, 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 taco. Crunchy, crunchy. With taco machine. Touch.
Hey guys, will y'all tossing me the tacos? I appreciate it very, very much. My wife does too, because she's always wanting me to give her money for something or another. And this is how I make money. Is these shows and stuff. This is my income is. So I appreciate it very much. Y'all are awesome. W says, I once E600 my hand to my face. Oh, that's glue, yeah, because I forgot I had glue on it. But also, will this fix my voltage issue? I don't know. I mean, you won't be able to turn the bass knob up because your hand to be attached to your face. So you're going to have to like get down there with your mouth and grab it and grab and try to turn. So you probably won't be able to get you won't be able to torture it as much because your hand will be glued to your face. So, knowing shop life, there are much worse places you could have glued your hand to, though. So let me just point that out. Your face is definitely not the worst one. You would just look surprised every time you went anywhere. What happened to you? E600. If you glued them somewhere else, you might look like a pervert everywhere you went. Just saying. Oh, no problem, brother. All I can smell is the color 5. Where have I seen that before? You guys are a hoot. El Fuego says he's checking out, had a fantastic show, and he is out of here, baby. He is going home, headed to the house. You guys are so cool. I love messing with you guys. Well, I've got more internal projects to do tonight, and every couple of hours I got to go work on this thing, and then I add some more glue, and then I let it dry. It's one of those projects that takes forever, but you don't do much. It's mostly waiting on shit to dry. Yeah. But for tonight, guys, I have caught up with the questions. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. Be sure to treat people that you meet like you've known them forever. Show love and respect for everyone you come across, because being nice to people and people being nice starts with you. So for now, guys, y'all know what time it is. Let's get the duck out of here, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Out here banging up and down the street, slamming that to the ground. Subwoofers are getting loud. You can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go. Got it shined up for the show. Hours charging, amps are amping. Gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Eyes are glowing and the amps smoking. Subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass fan. I'm gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go. 20 hertz in the floating hair. Sparks are flying, voice cords are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust.